Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Local Film Talk. I'm Bob Walters. It's just me today. Right now, this is a special episode. This is kind of a placeholder, a little bit of an explanation of what's been going on lately. Um, you may have noticed that we didn't have an episode last week, and we almost didn't have one this week. We ran into a couple technical difficulties that we're trying to sort through right now. But that's the reason that there wasn't anything last week. We're having some issues with this week's episode too. Hopefully we can get those resolved nice and quickly. But for now, I just wanted to come onto the podcast channel and the YouTube channel and let you guys know that we haven't forgotten you. We haven't abandoned the show. We are still here, and we will have new episodes very soon. Basically, what happened, I'll go ahead and let you know because the point of the show is obviously to give you tips and advice to help you with your own projects, and that includes learning from our mistakes and hopefully, helping you guys with what you're working on. So basically, I was out of town 2 weeks ago, and Conrad decided he would take it upon himself to do an episode, but he wanted to do it in person. So he decided he was going to use OBS, Open Broadcaster Software, which is a free open source program that's used by a lot of Twitch streamers. You may notice if you watch Twitch, watching people play video games, this is the program that lots of them use. And since it's free, he thought he'd go ahead and try to use it to do an in-person interview. It can basically work like a switcher in a TV station. Take camera one, take camera two, that kind of stuff. So he wanted to do an in-person interview rather than using Google Hangouts like we usually do. And so he hooked up the webcams to his MacBook Pro and hooked up the mics and all that stuff and recorded an interview. Now, the reason, or when how to put this, the most common file type, OBS gives you two different file types to save your video file as, an MP4 or an FLV file. Now, my understanding, and I could be wrong, so if you know more about this stuff than I do, and most people probably do, and you want to correct what I'm about to say, feel free to send an email to localfilmtalk@gmail.com and correct me. I'm always happy to learn. That's how we get anywhere doing this stuff. But my understanding is FLV, it's Flash video file. It's a file format created by Adobe, and the reason Twitch streamers like it is when you are doing a 6, 7, 8 hour stream, if your computer crashes halfway through it, an MP4 file, if the computer crashes while it's recording, the whole file is no good. But an FLV file will be good right up until the crash. It saved all that video along the way, so you're not totally lost, and that's why streamers prefer it, and so OBS uses it as kind of the default. So that's what Conrad recorded the interview in. So when he went to send it to me, because he didn't have time to edit it, he recorded it the day I got back, so he sent me the footage and I was going to edit it. I have this FLV file, and I try to open it in Premiere, and it won't take it. Premiere won't take it. Now, like I said, as I understand it, FLV files is a format created by Adobe, and yet none of the Adobe video editing programs will take FLV files. What's up with that, Adobe? I don't understand. So anyways, it took me a couple days to try to figure out how to convert the file. Just so you know, I honestly couldn't find a good way to do it. If anybody has any recommendations, localfilmtalk@gmail.com. Email me. I could really use some advice here. Honestly, I just ended up uploading the FLV file to YouTube and then downloading an MPEG from that. So there was a couple extra layers of encoding that went on there that I didn't really like, but I got the file. Downside was, by the time I got that all figured out, it was Friday. It was like 4 days late. We were getting ready to do another episode on Monday. I was like, well, there's no point in putting this episode up, and it was a really good interview. Some great insights from Dean Garris and Mike Howard, whom Conrad was talking to. A really good episode that I didn't want to give a short shrift by only having it out 3 days until the next episode came out, and people don't get a chance to really take in that first one. So I said, well, we'll sit on this one for a little bit. We'll record the episode on Monday, which would be yesterday, May May 30th, I believe. Yeah, May 30th. Monday, May 30th. So we were going to sit down with Eric Pruitt, who is doing the West End Summer Film Series, which starts Wednesday, June 1st. So we were going to talk to him about organizing screenings and festivals and that kind of stuff on Monday. Now, again, since it was Memorial Day, we decided we were going to get together. I was excited to try OBS because Conrad said it went pretty well. We kind of want to try to figure out how to use this. I'd like to use this system more for doing our actual episodes. So I wanted to get in, get my hands dirty, try using OBS. So we decided we were going to do, since it was Memorial Day and everybody was going to have their day off, we decided that we were going to do another in-person episode. And since I knew what to do with an FLV file, we just used FLV file again, though at this point that's neither here nor there. Anyways, so Memorial Day, we all get together. Me, Conrad, Eric Pruitt, we record the episode, goes pretty well. Eric heads out, so it's just me and Conrad. I give Conrad the drive, or actually in this case, SD card, that he's going to use to copy the files from his MacBook Pro onto this card, and I'm going to take it back and edit it on my Windows machine. Mac, Windows, this will come up. So obviously we all know that the formatting of drives between Mac computers and Windows computers can be problematic, though there are formatting types that work for both. So Conrad decided to encode the drive, or to format the drive in exFAT. So he copied the files onto it. I took the drives home. I had some stuff to do that afternoon. We had some people over. So it wasn't until like 9 or 10 o'clock that I was finally able to sit down and try to copy these files onto my computer to edit them. And I open up the drive, and there are no files there. It says, you know, memory's being taken up, like 7 gigs of space is taken up, which, as I know about the size of the files, but the files aren't showing up. So fast forward about 20 minutes of internet research later, come to find out that a drive formatted in exFAT on a Windows machine can be read by both Windows machines and Mac-based machines. However, if a drive is encoded in exFAT on an Apple computer, a Windows computer can't read that. Now, I'm speechless. I don't know why this is. I implore you a third time, if you understand this stuff in ways I do not, please, localfilmtalk@gmail.com. Help me understand so I don't just yank my freaking hair out. I don't know why this is, but anyways, that's like 10:30 last night, and it's too late. I call up Conrad. He says, well, the footage, I left the footage back at the studio and I'm at home now. I said, well, go ahead and send it to me tomorrow morning. So the next morning, Tuesday morning, he tries to upload it. There's issues with the internet speed. It crashes at one point, blah, 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 blah. Computer problems, that, snafus, that kind of thing. At any rate, we weren't going to have that episode. I wasn't going to be able to get that footage in time to get an episode out for you guys this week before the West End screening on Wednesday, which was one of the main reasons we had Eric on. So I was feeling kind of bad. Sorry. I was feeling kind of bad. At this point it had been 2 weeks. No new episodes from us. You guys are probably wondering what's going on. And of course, we're trying to drum up business for the first week of this West End screening, and the episodes kind of fizzled out. So I decided I was going to come in. I was going to crank up the mic, set up the background, and I was going to come and talk to you guys and explain to you what the problem was, which I've just done. Like I said, hopefully you guys can learn from our mistakes. We certainly have. To be perfectly honest, I'm not all that upset. I mean, I could throw chairs and flip desks, but that's not going to solve the problem. But at the end of the day, you learn more from your failures than you do from your successes. And fortunately, most of the problems that we've had with these past two episodes that were done on OBS, the problems are pretty obvious. They're pretty fixable. So we've had some troubles, but I am still stoked about this idea. I still want to experiment, still play with it. I think we're going to do more tests behind the scenes before actually hinging an episode on it. I think that would be smart to do in the future. We have a tendency to just kind of dive headfirst into stuff on this show. Going to try and be a little more cautious in the future. But basically, that's what happened there. Hopefully, you guys can learn from that. We certainly will. And we'll continue to develop that as things go along. Hopefully you'll notice some improvements. I'm actually recording this using OBS. I recorded one earlier, but there's a weird echo on the mics, so I'm having to re-record it. Hopefully the audio is coming out good this time. I'll have to double check before I upload it. But as you can see, I got the lower third title here. We're still experimenting. And hopefully we can bring you some nice crisp-looking episodes, better quality than you get from a Google Hangout and everything. We'll get all that figured out soon, and we will keep you guys in the loop because I'm sure you're interested in our misadventures of learning new software. So, anyways, like I said, this would be a short episode. One of the key reasons was to explain what went wrong and why episodes have not been coming out. But the other reason is because, like I said, Wednesday, June 1st is the first screening in the West End Summer Film Series, which is what Eric Pruitt, our friend Eric Pruitt, was supposed to be talking about this week. Unfortunately, that episode is not going to be ready, but I don't want to short shrift the screening, and so I want to take a second to plug it. It starts at 7 p.m. Wednesday, June 1st. It's at the West End Wine Bar. That's on Main Street. I'm sorry, that's on that's on Franklin Street in downtown Chapel Hill. And we encourage you guys to come out. It's a screening of short films by a lot of local directors. We've got Cake by Josh Dassel. We've got Baby Shoes by Mike Howard. The Last Line by Beverly Tan. Liana on Command by Eric Pruitt. And Braggin East by Rob Underhill. These are 5 really great short films. We've got, I think we've got a really tight block here, but the event starts at 7 p.m. I'm going to be emceeing the thing. We're going to have drink specials, some great conversations, hopefully a Q&A. So I will be making all the announcements and everything at 7 o'clock. We'll give people some time to get settled, get their drinks, all that good stuff. And then at 7:30 we'll start the movies. The block should last about an hour, and then at 7:30 we'll have a Q&A with the filmmakers. You guys can ask them questions about their movies. It should be a great time. I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you guys come out there. We're really trying to get a bunch of people out there. It's a free screening. It doesn't cost you anything to get in. Just come in, find a seat, and enjoy some great local films. But yeah, I really wanted to make sure that we got the word out about that one. And this screening that's happening tomorrow on June 1st, that is the first in a weekly series that's going to go all summer. We're going to be doing them every Wednesday at 7 p.m. through August 31st. So if you can't make this one, mark your calendar for next week and the week after that. We got 14 weeks of short films. And we really want to get people out there to come out and watch these things. So come on out, tell your friends to come out. It's going to be a great time out there at the West End Wine Bar. So that pretty much does it. I guess I should go ahead and give some shout outs to upcoming events. The main one I'm thinking of is the premiere of Scorpion. If you guys remember the web series Scorpion that Roger Paris started, all the episodes did not make it online. Let me see if pull up the date here. All the episodes didn't make it online, but Roger decided to take all the footage and edit it into a full feature-length film, and that will be debuting on June 25th at 6:30 p.m. at the Varsity Theater. That's also on Franklin Street in downtown Chapel Hill. June 25th. Come and check out Scorpion, Vice City Shakedown. Now, this is a crazy ass film. It's a film. I'm so used to it being a web series. This is a crazy ass film. It's a cop drama, but it gets really nutty. At some point, there is ninjas with lasers in a cowboy town. I am not even shitting you. This actually happens in this movie. You got to come out. It's a great send up, a great genre parody. Roger is crazy man, and it all shows in this movie. So June 25th, 6:30 p.m. at the Varsity Theater. Come check out Scorpion, Vice City Shakedown. That's the only real event on the calendar. The screenings and the meetups that we still have to set dates for. But I guess that leaves the last thing, always the last thing we got to mention, FilmSpark. We're still taking submissions for FilmSpark all through the summer. Right now, you can submit your film for $15. We're looking for local stuff anywhere in North Carolina. If it was made in North Carolina by North Carolina people, we want you to submit it. We're looking for short films. We're looking for feature films. We want experimental, music video, documentaries. Like I said, if it was made in North Carolina by North Carolina people, $15, not a steep price. Go ahead and submit your film to FilmSpark, and hopefully we can we'll be able to fit that in a block and screen that in the fall. Also worth mentioning, the West End Summer Film Series that I was just talking about. Those we're looking for local films for that too. Now, specifically, we're looking for narrative short films, but submitting to that is free. It doesn't cost you anything to submit to the West End Summer Film Series. So again, if you're someone in North Carolina with a film, or have a friend who has a film, has to be short, has to be narrative, go ahead and submit it. You just send us a link to the film to WestEndSummerFilmSeries@gmail.com, and we will see if we can find a way to fit it in. We're just really excited to try to find ways to get local films out in front of audiences. So submit to FilmSpark, submit to the West End Summer Film Series, and we will see what we can do. We'll see if we can try to get your film in front of an audience. So that pretty much does it. That's me running my mouth for about 20 minutes. I hope that clears up a lot of things. I hope that gets you guys excited for the future. I'm excited. Hopefully the plan right now is you're getting this right now this week. The goal is next week I will post Conrad's interview with Dean Garris and Mike Howard. I'm not sure what we'll do with Eric's episode. A lot of it had to do with this first week of the West End Film Series, which will no longer be relevant. But there was a lot of really good conversation about what goes into organizing a screening series and a festival and that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping to take that episode and cut it down to those parts and get it to you sometime. Don't have an exact date, but we'll let you know when we do, because we think you'll really enjoy it when it comes out. So anyways, that's pretty much it for this week. Thank you for your patience. We will have more great stuff for you soon, so stay tuned. You guys have a great evening, and hopefully I will see you out there at one screening or another checking out some great North Carolina films. You guys take it easy. Night.